In this lesson, I'm going to highlight some of the key things you need to know from Chapter 5, Section 1. It's titled Greek Mythology, and it concentrates on the Greek gods and goddesses. Hopefully by now you've taken your gods and goddess test online and you saw which characteristics of the gods and goddesses that you most likely had, and that you posted them on the bulletin board, the Lino bulletin board. But a couple other things we're going to talk about in this chapter that has to do with myths. And we do want to take a look and see what exactly is a myth. So at this point, you will want to take notes on this. And I can go a little slowly so you can write everything down. But at the same time, you can rewatch this video and get the specifics that you need from the notes. So what exactly is a myth? A myth is a type of story that has one or more of these characteristics. So we're going to go through a couple characteristics, and typically this is what a myth is. So myths are usually about gods or supernatural beings with greater power and abilities than ordinary humans. Myths explain the origins of the world or how human customs came to be. Myths take the place in a time long, long ago. So we typically don't have myths today because we have scientific explanations as to why things happened, how things came into the world. We typically don't explain things by supernatural beings or gods or goddesses. Myths were usually thought to be true by their original tellers, no matter how wild or strange they seem to us. So it's a little background about myths, and we're going to go on to the purpose of myths. So what is the purpose of a myth? Why did they come up with these stories that included these gods and goddesses in them? And again, the main reason is to explain how things came to be, like the origin of the universe or the creation of humans. So for instance, if the individuals in the ancient world were wondering, well, why is there this big flood, or why did this tsunami occur? Well, they would say, well, Poseidon, the god of the sea, the god of water, got angry and made this happen. So that's how they explain some of the natural phenomenons in the world and how things came to be. Myths teach people about the values and beliefs that are important in their society. And myths also contain deep religious significance to the people who tell and believe in them. So one very simple example that I could give you of a myth, and this is a very short myth, not a long myth, is probably when you were maybe 3 years old or so, and you were wondering where thunder, lightning, where those loud noises came from up in the sky. So your parents most likely told you that people were bowling up in heaven, or maybe someone was getting angry, or maybe God was walking around, or someone dropped a big heavy chair in heaven and it created this loud crashing noise. But they made up a story to explain to you why this thunder was happening. Probably if they would have gone through the whole entire scientific explanation at your age of 3, it would not have been something for you to easily understand. So that's a kind of an example of what a myth would be like. It's a story, a made-up story with gods and goddesses used to explain something.